Namaste. I see the divine in you as you see the divine in me. Namaste.
Namaste.
My name is SUZANNA MARIA EMMANUEL, and I'm the designated channel for Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great. And since 2014, I'm also a channel for CAEAYARON, Master of Magnetic Forces, Flows in Alignment, otherwise known as Kryon. And it is my privilege and my greatest honor to be the channel. And I've received a great task for being the channel to bring millions to peace and love, and to help them to grow into the peace and the love. So this is the most beautiful, beautiful project that I've been given. And so it is my desire that everyone hears these most beautiful messages and be in their heart. So in a moment I will close my eyes and allow you to hear Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, who will come through with a beautiful message. I don't know what he will say. Then CAEAYARON will come through with something else, and I don't know what he's going to say either. And I don't know who's going to follow, but someone else will. And there may be a fourth speaker even, and I don't know who that is either. So it's always filled with surprises. Namaste.
Namaste.
Greetings, dear brothers and sisters, dear sons and daughters in the light. I am Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, and here in these spaces of love and light, I welcome you to these teachings. For whenever you are in our presence, and you are listening to the teachings being spoken, your heart awakens to a higher sound and higher love. And at this moment, it is so important to awaken to greater love within who you are, and to help you to discover your deeper self. For these times are about learning to grow as your divine self. You are living in the times when the great prophets said a long, long time ago, "Great light will shine before men, and that great light would bring many to the great peace and the great love." And then the ancient prophets saw a world with a whole new beginning, new thoughts, new ways, new life. They saw people working together towards a higher goal, but they were all looking up, as if they saw the greater direction coming from the higher spaces. And then they bowed down and they said, "Light be upon us, light lead us," and light would. Then the great prophets saw a great mountain, and all the people would be gathering together and saying, "Come, dear one, let us go to the top of the mountain and celebrate the great light." Then the great prophets saw angels coming down, and each angel would give a gown to each person who went to the top of the mountain. And the people who received the gown had to dedicate themselves to the light and say, "I am now in service to the great light." For we can see the high path, and that high path is truth, power, and love. And then the people would go away and they would be assigned to very important tasks. Friends, these were the prophecies that many prophets saw a long time ago. And these prophecies of the old are taking place now. For now the great mountain of light is rising upon your earth, and you are being gathered together. You are starting to see the light, and many more will see the light. And you are starting to say, "Light, lead us to love and peace." And then you will gather the people around you and say, "Let us walk to the top of the mountain and gather ourselves together to the most important work upon this earth." And then the angels will give us gowns to wear, and we will be given direct assignments from Spirit to go and do our most beautiful work to bring so many people to the love healings. Friends, do you desire to be part of this most incredible work? To bring people into the love flows. What does it take for a person to come to the love flows and to the great divine work? It is the one who is the humblest who will be chosen by the divine. And what does humble mean? Humble in spiritual terms means to be open to the great divine direction, so that when you hear the great divine say, "Please do this," you let go of all that you have and all that you know, and you go and do it. Does this mean that you are stripped materially? No, for we are abundance teachers, always know that. But these people who are so humble, they will be so guided by us. They will hear the messages being spoken, and they will do the utmost to work in the love and the light, never for their own glory. For their own glory does not mean anything to them. They will always say, "Give the glory to the divine. Don't ever glorify myself as a human, but glorify the divine who has sent me to do the work of the divine." These people who are so humble are so difficult to find, for so often the people love being glorified. So many people love to have the beautiful names being given to them, and then they say, "Look, I am this, and look, I am that," and then they forget about their glorious mission, and they think that they can keep on doing what they've always been doing and still keep those beautiful names. Friends, and here I am speaking to the most beautiful hearts of those who will receive divine gifts and divine tasks. Humans can never be glorified, no matter how highly evolved they are. Even when I speak about my most beautiful channel, Susanna, who is the great divine channel, who is In the Pleiadian terms, the blue star, who is the light grid programmer, who is the ascension channel. She knows more than anyone upon your plane. The most difficult task is to give all the glory to the divine. For when you receive a divine task, you are smaller than the average person here upon this plane. Why? Because of service, friends. The most evolved human beings are here to serve others. This is why my channel Joshua, when he was upon the plane of the earth, he washed the feet of his followers. And they did not want the master to wash their feet, for this was not seen as a high, elated task. For only the lowly could wash the feet of those who were greater. And so they said, Jesus, get off of the floor, please. Do not wash my feet, for my feet are not to be washed by a great being like you. And Jesus said, I am here to serve you. I myself know that I have been sent by the great divine to serve you. And that means I am lower than you, my friend, for my task is to bring you up high. What was the lesson in this? The lesson is this, our dear friends. The ones with the most divine tasks are there to serve others. And friends, there is no greater human being than the channel I am speaking through. But because she is so great, and because we as divine beings are asking her to serve all the people, she must be looked after so much, for otherwise she cannot serve the people. She cannot be the great channel, the great ascension channel, the light grid programmer, or the blue star. And she has sacrificed every day and every night to this divine work. And I, Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, can find no other human upon this plane who loves the divine so much as this most beautiful woman sitting here. And when you hear her speak from her heart, you will feel that, friends. When you see her, she will shine with you and always teach you that you are so great and you are so much love. And many of those that she channels to feel so elated and say, I am this and I was that. And we say to them, but remember who is always greater, the great ascension channel. And yet she feels so much smaller than you. So then, friend, who are you to say you are so great? For there is no one greater except the divine channel, who has come through time and time and time again to bring the messages to the people, and always stating, can I wash your feet, dear one? Can I serve you? Can I show you how great you are? So I speak of this great lesson, friends, because it is time to awaken to the most beautiful tasks ahead of you, and to realize the humble service to the great divine. Greetings, I am Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great.
Greetings. Greetings.
Greetings and welcome. I am CAEAYARON, Master of Magnetic Forces, Flows and Alignment. You may also know me as Kryon, Magnetic Services. And here you are in this most magnificent space, listening to the great teachings being spoken. Listening to the way that you can come more into your heart and become a greater person. For it is time to step up, our dear friends. And over the last few months alone, when you've been listening to my teachings, CAEAYARON, speaking through my light grid programmer, SUZANNA Maria Emmanuel, you would have understood so much of the plays of the universe and how mankind is going to ascend upwards and is ascending upwards already. For I have shown you the great case in the universe as to why the divine channel was needed upon your plane and in all planes of the universe. And there is so much more to learn. For what you have discovered, friends, is only a tiny fraction. And like I stated before many times, what you are going to discover is so great. So I take your lessons one step at a time. Why do I do that? To help you play the game. The game of choice, the game of being rattled, the game of being pushed up higher, being taken down, pushed up higher, understand and then realize you don't understand anything at all and that you need more. And then you think you know it all and then you realize you don't know anything. And then you keep coming back for more. CAEAYARON teaches more. How do we play the game higher? How do we ascend upwards? So you've learned so much. In the last few months alone, you've learned about the plays of Lemuria, which have shocked many. For many believed it was a land of the great love and light, which it was, and that nothing much happened. And yet then they began to realize that everything upon your plane changed. And you've never known the ins and the outs and the whys and the hows. And all of a sudden you awaken. And many people know those stories, for you remember it deeper. And then many people of those who've heard those stories don't want to continue to hear, because they realize how deep the hurt has gone. And yet I say, as CAEAYARON, it takes a mighty, strong, courageous person to remember and then to find the love back in their hearts and to forgive all the pain. Why is forgiveness so important? Well, if you come to the divine pineal gland activations, you will know about forgiveness, friends. You will know what forgiveness will do for your life, not only for your life, but the lives of your families, and the lives for your nations, the lives for your country, the lives for your tribes, the lives for your whole world. For forgiveness is about understanding the pain. Not by not feeling it, by understanding it, by understanding the issues, and then having the courage to go into those issues, not hiding it, but to heal it with your great love. And this whole time, friends, about the ascension, about understanding vibrations, about understanding how to transform energy, understanding your cellular healing, understanding the shadows, the light, the programs within you, is about having the courage to go within every part and digging really deep as to how much you desire the divine ascension. So let us play a little game. You see, as you know, for those people who have been following these teachings, you know that I'm a great game master. I helped you design the game, friends, and you are in the middle of a virtual reality game. And a virtual reality game exists on many levels, and you have many options. Option A, B, C, depending how you want to play the game. And as your divine selves, you're pretty hard on yourselves in the game. So you also have options. Option A, option B, option C. Although there are many options, much more than your whole alphabet, but that does not matter at the time. One step at a time, I take you deeper into your own design and how you ascend upwards. So you have this most beautiful game. And this game is multi-dimensional, so it's not only on your game plane as on Earth, it's on many other universal games. And do you know what's the most beautiful part of all? Is that you've been watching other dimensions playing the same game and seeing how it does work and how it doesn't work, and what the outcome is if you don't listen, and you know that is not an option. So you go back to your own game and you make it even tougher for yourself. And so as a collective, you are coming together at this time, up in the highest spaces, asking your human selves this very question: how much do you desire the ascension? And do you know what it means to you? So let us go to option A. Option A is the people who don't really care. They know about the ascension. Oh yes, whatever, CAEAYARON, that's option A. Option B, well, I'll have a think about it. If I have some time and if I can do some things in my own life, well, that's when I will make time for you, great divine. Or option C, I will do everything in my power, with all my energy, with all my skills, with everything that I know, with all my heart, to make this happen, CAEAYARON. Which one of these options do you think would be greatly blessed? Option A, people who don't really care. Option B, if I have enough time, I'll do it, CAEAYARON. Or option C, I'll do everything in my heart to make it happen. This is a little trickier than you realize. You see, most people at this moment are in option A. Even the so-called spiritual people, they don't really care. If it happens, it happens, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. Option B is interesting too. At the moment, so many people are in option B. Well, if I get enough time, if I have enough money, then I'll perhaps do something about it. very few are in option C. So how many people do you think that it takes to make the ascension happen, do you think? In option A, which is 0, option B, which is also 0 because the ascension obviously won't happen, and option C. Do you think that to make the energies beautiful upon your plane, that we would need a few people, quite a few people actually, to really want this to happen? But then the next game comes into play, friends. Even if we do have those people for option C who completely want to dedicate themselves to the light and to say to the divine, we will do everything in our power to make this happen, then the next game comes into play. How much do you love humanity? And again, the options come into it. Option A, I really can't be bothered, CAEAYARON. Option B, well, if they would hurry up and get out of the way, maybe I would. Or option C, I would really like to bring the people into awakening. So let's see what works, shall we? Option A, don't really care about humanity. Well, option A people cannot bring about the ascension. Option B, the people perhaps, if they would hurry up and do their thing, won't bring the ascension either. Or option C, the people who really say, I want to help to bring the awakening, CAEAYARON, what can I do? So this would make obvious sense to you then. So then I say as CAEAYARON, how would you like to go to option C? And what would it take for you to grow into option C? Well, there's the obvious answer then, to learn to forgive. Why is it that forgiveness is so important? Because all the energies that have ever existed upon your plane are still present upon your plane. So you can say, well, option A, I really don't care about that, CAEAYARON, whatever is whatever. Or option B is, well, I don't know what to do about it. Or option C, CAEAYARON, I will attend your divine pineal gland activation so I can learn how to heal my own life, how to become a conscious transformer, and I will do those exercises that you will show me how to do, and then I will dedicate myself to do the light work, and I know you will support myself and my family, but I will give my whole heart to it. But how many people are willing to do that? That is really a good question, is it not? Especially when we look at all the options available. So let us look at another option then. In the greater realms, shall we? You see, like I stated before in this teaching, on the greater realms, you can see a little bit more. And you see all these options too. You wipe them all out yourself collectively and you state, don't go there, because we know the outcome, because we're playing in parallel realities, and in that reality over there, we have taken that option and it's meant complete destruction, and then what we have seen happening is that we can't evolve upwards as a race, which means that we can't go back to our star dimensions. Don't go there. Here on this earth, the people say, it's a choice. I don't have to listen to the divine, which is option 1. Option 2, well, if the divine says I should do something, maybe I'll think about it, but I haven't heard them clearly yet. Or option 3, which is C, I will do my utmost, CAEAYARON. I can see how important this is. So again, you're faced with different options. So you can see how there's an option of freedom then? An option of freedom? Well, this is all changing. You see, everything is changing upon your plane as we are speaking. Collectively up there, you stated, once the Ascension program becomes greatly available and the light grid programmer is upon the plane, channeling the great teachings through and giving the healings, and it is available for all to see, we are taking the choice of freedom away as what we thought it was without any consequence. That's what you thought it was. And now we will have a collective responsibility because of the responsibility that we have given to each other to move upwards and onwards into a higher evolutionary process. So this is what the Galactic Federation of Light Society would like you to know at this moment. This is because collectively you came to the great divine courts. And as a great judge, CAEAYARON, I hear all sides. It's my task as a great divine judge to listen and then to help you play the game. You see, even I, as a divine judge, cannot interfere in your game unless you, as a collective, instruct me to do something. We have rules that we play by because you design the game. This is your game of ascension. This is you deciding when to bring in the greater instructions. This is you deciding when to play the greater game and to bring up your DNA and to play in the light again. And up there in the divine realms, you are not so easy on yourself as you are here. For here on this plane, you suffer with amnesia. So you go with your own rules. I can't be bothered. I don't feel very well. My own work is more important than the work of the divine. Up there, you say, I will give myself as a human everything it needs to do the divine work. When you hear these messages, light grid programmer, wake up, divine pineal gland activations, you don't fall asleep. You go, I must act, I must act, I must act. I must pick up my bags, get the pineal gland activations and work harder. And then as a greater self, what you will do for your human self is you will make the higher path available for you to reward yourself. And together you have made those paths available. So when you say the great divine is blessing me, well, yes, it is. It is very much. But then also consider what your higher divine self is doing also. For you are here on a collective journey, friends. The individual journey has gone. It is no longer an option. You may think it is, but it isn't. That option A has completely been crossed out. Why? Because time is not on your side any longer. If we kept option A in, you would not bother, you would be too busy, and before you know it, this world would also run out of time. You are in a most exciting time, and that does not mean that you won't be materially provided for. For the ones who listen to the light words and receive the great healings and understand the light ways, they will prosper in more ways than you realize, because it is the time for the light to align upwards. But only for the ones who go for the option C, the ones who say, I will do everything in my power, CAEAYARON, to do this great divine work. What can I do? Imagine in the next few years, friends, that these millions of people that I've been speaking about that must become activated come in to the folds. That is only 400 million people. It's a lot of people. And they all need help and healing. And what they will do is understand then to become teachers and lovers of light and to stand in a greater truth. And there's more people that will awaken. And so the other people all need healing. And at this time, we don't have enough people to cope with all the healings that will be needed upon planet Earth. So then if you stood in option A, you don't care, and you don't care about humanity, and you say whatever, do you think that anyone could be healed in those great numbers to bring in the collective love and to ascend upwards? No, that is not possible. Or option B, well, I can't be bothered, or if the opportunity comes available, I can't really be asked to do anything, CAEAYARON, because my job is much more important and I don't really care about humanity. Well, then the great ascension can't happen either, because so many people need healing and there is no one to help them. Unless you go for option C, and that is to have many people say, what is it that we can do, CAEAYARON? Let's get rock and rolling in the light, and let's get the ball really rolling, and teach us how to transform energy and to bring healing into ourselves, to heal our vibrational states, teach us how to love more, teach us how to grow our gardens more greatly, and how to sing in the light, and how to be open with our hearts, and to love our partners and bring healing to our children. Teach us all that, CAEAYARON. And teach us how to open our hearts to humanity, and I will say to you, you will succeed. Because like I stated last week, you only need a tiny little bit of divine love energies of the highest realms to come to your plane to change all of the pain flows. But it needs that dedication, and that is why I need only a few people in comparison to the population to do this work with a dedicated heart. This is why learning to forgive and the power of forgiveness is so important, for forgiveness is a transformation of energy, shifting it from one energy into another so that you can grow. And it's so easy for so many spiritual people to say these following things. Oh, but CAEAYARON, I'm already into my higher self. I say, really? Because not one person here upon this earth can say that. Why not? Because it's not here yet. You need to have the people in option C collectively to understand what the higher self is, the true higher self, to transform information, to bring through the great energies of love with the divine pineal gland activations with my light grid programmer before people can learn to state that they've completely eliminated their lower selves. CAEAYARON, I'm completely rid of my fear. I will say, really? Now how can that happen when there's so much fear upon your plane? I only have to bring this thought into your mind and you go into your fear. So I say, let's all get into that option C, people, and really learn what love and light is, and what dedication to self is, and to humanity is, and to the divine is, and learn how to forgive all the pain that's been in your past lifetimes upon your plane, and learn how to really go into it, to transform that energy, to really heal, and then to embrace the people around you and become more of love. And that is beautiful too, There's other people that say, oh, my spirit people say that we don't need to work in the light. We can have fun and do whatever it is. I have a good answer for that too, people. Please know that I'm all love and light, and I want you to play in the love and the light. And the more you come into the true love, the more you want to do the higher souls. And then you become so happy, and you have true fun, and you truly exist within yourself, because you step into a whole being which is far higher than your human self. That is true power and true love. And that is the state that I want you to play in. Yes, I want you to enjoy yourself, to be everything that you are, but also to connect upwards, friends, and to heal. And for that to happen, to step into your greater self, to learn to love yourself as your divine self, takes work, and it's a bit of effort. Because without the work, and without the exercises, without the pineal gland activations, without your effort, how can you learn to play in the greater light and to bring through that love for the ascension flows? Up there in your divine self space, you want your human self to work. Do you know why? Because up there you've worked so hard. They don't just sit up there and play harps and play the flutes. They work. They gather so much information from so many realms, place it into your codes, and sit there praying for you to begin to listen. That is what your divine selves do on many levels. So if you think that going to spirit is sleeping all day, not caring, not bothering, not caring about humanity or any of the other races, it is what you would believe perhaps an individual healing journey. You get cross, you would go dung, 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 and you would understand that up there it's collective power, collective learning. It is such a great training ground, and you work in soul clusters really hard with your spirit guides and masters. You come here to this earth to listen, and you want to evolve upwards, come down, upwards, come down, but to evolve up higher into the spiritual dimensional growth, you need the numbers now, friends. And so there you're working really hard, and you are begging me at this moment, CAEAYARON, be a bit tougher on the humans there, otherwise they won't only lose out here, we will lose out there. So they want me to be a bit tougher. But A, can the people handle that? No, they can't. Or B, some of you can, which is great. C, some of you will love it and say, CAEAYARON, we've been waiting for the thermal lessons to come about. And some of you will say, please put me in category C, please, for I'm completely devoted to the love and the light work, for this is the only way to keep on living upon our plane, and please help us ascend upwards so that we can live in the love flows and get rid of all the pain and the fear programs and all the anger programs, and teach us, CAEAYARON, how to bring love and light and rid all the war energies and the sickness energies and the hunger energies, the division energies. Please help us. And when the hearts open more, the blessings will rain down. And that is, friends, how the divine works. So I, as a divine master, will ask you, so which category are you in? Number A. Really, you don't care, CAEAYARON, whatever. That's category A. Category B, well, if the opportunity comes along, then I might just do it. But I don't want to sacrifice anything, CAEAYARON. Please, I must still have my lifestyle. Or C, I will do anything in my power, CAEAYARON, to do this work with the great divine. And those people I invite in my fold. For you will be guided and trained, and you will love your life. I will give you blessings like you would not believe it. I will teach you how to heal yourself, heal each other, heal the world, and be a part of a greater plane. Greetings, I am CAEAYARON, Master of Magnetic Forces, Flows and Alignment. You may also know me as Kryon, Magnetic Surfaces. Greetings.
Greetings.
Akomoha Halima. Greetings, I'm AMMORAH, Pleiadian High Priestess on the Pleiadian High Council. We as Pleiadians of love come to you in peace and in love. We come to you because you are so important to us. You are important to us because we believe in you. You are important to us because we see you as children, babes of love, babes of deeper spirituality. We come to the ones who really want to understand the star energies of love. We come to the ones who really want to awaken to the love of the star realms. We work in divine direction with the great heavens, who are blessing you at this moment to give you deeper direction. We help you with all things, and we will help you greater. What we want to give to you is a plan to ascend greater. We want to help you step by step to ascend into your star selves. But then we ask you, what will you do in return? Some of you will be quite upset with this question. AMMORAH, I thought it was unconditional love that you showed. You're asking us what we will do for you? It's not for us that you need to be concerned about, for we are only Pleiadians. When I say only, it doesn't mean less than you, for we are far more than you. We are far more evolved than you realize. We've sacrificed far more for you than you realize. We have jumped dimensions to teach you. We have jumped worlds to be with you. We have brought our vibration down so much in our original worlds to help you to grow. Then I ask you as a high priestess, how much Do you recognize that? And how much do you appreciate that? I was listening to the teachings of both Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great and CAEAYARON, as we are great listeners of all teachings. And I ask you this: if the ascension flows were being given to you on a platter, how much would you appreciate that? You would not be able to hold it up, our dear friends, for it was given to you in an ancient land, and we gave everything to you. We built the dimensions together with the light grid programmers. You were in a very high dimensional flow. Your DNA levels were very, very high. Your programs were very high too, for we constantly were with the people. We placed programs within the light grids to help you to grow. And because we worked so hard with the light grid programmers in Lemuria, you gained higher transmissions and higher power, for we were also the builders of the light grid programmers. And I, as AMMORAH, stood beside this light grid programmer in the temples to build her power, and her power was enormous. Why was her power enormous? Well, because she was created for that, but also because she had builders, and it was the only way to receive the great flows from the universal love grid, as you've already heard from CAEAYARON, through to the people. So you had everything. We gave it to you. There was no sickness, no food shortages, no killing, no crime. Arguments were there, but unheard of, and they were quickly resolved. And everything was always about giving, receiving, giving, receiving, giving, receiving. Never about giving, 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 and then being so grateful that you just kept giving and giving and giving and giving. It was always about giving and receiving, so that no one could expect more or less. Nowadays, so many people expect the givers to keep giving and giving and giving and giving and giving. We say, please understand, it's about giving and receiving and going up higher. That is another Pleiadian teaching. Coming back to my teaching. So in Lemuria, you had everything. You had all the power to grow. Your cows gave you beautiful milk. Beautiful milk that you don't know about at this time. The water was so pure. You did not need filtration systems. You never worried about dirty waters. And every piece of fruit had its most perfect mineral content. You were not the meat eaters, because you weren't designed that way. That came later. And all your animals had a trusting relationship with you, because you never hunted, and you always cared about each animal as if it was a family member. You talked to your sheep, your chickens, your roosters, the birds, the horses, the cows, the deer, and everything was so beautiful in harmony. And because there was no fear among the animals, there was no unbalance. Everything came out of balance once the fear program started. The seas were filled with harmony. The dolphins, which are much more important to you than you realize, were thriving, and so were the whales, which is much important than you realize too. And the seas were filled with laughter and love. And it was so beautiful to be a part of your race and to see you grow. Because as Pleiadians, we grew along with you. And we taught you how to do higher life. We taught you how to see greater things. And how to stay within the boundaries. And how to work really hard in the light to receive greater blessings. We always taught you the power of manifestation and how to be in harmony with yourselves. We gave you temples to bring your children to teach them the higher ways, to step into their truth and their higher gifts. The children of those days, they were so much more highly evolved than what you have now. And each child was designed in Lemuria, as it were, not with genetic engineering and all these things, but with your love. You asked them to be there. You asked them for specific gifts, and they came into your life. Everything was always a blessing. And even when you had all the ascension flows, and you had it there on a silver platter, as it were, you didn't appreciate it enough. And you dropped it. And you came into the other programs, and that was your choice. And so many spiritual people today upon your plane have been asking for the ascension flows to be given again on a silver platter. I, as a Pleiadian high priestess, would say to you, would you think that the divine realms will do that this time? Since you already had it in the past, and you just dropped it like that. No, friends. This time, we say, you need to work extra hard to get those energies flowing upon your earth again. And we say that with all love in our Pleiadian hearts. Why do you need to work so hard? To appreciate it this time. And to truly appreciate it. How much would you do for the divine flows? Which has been the theme for this evening. We know that these teachings through this channel are not the easiest for many ears to hear. For many ears of the spiritual community love all the easy teachings. They love all the let's feel merry and happy and let's do a meditation and not be asked to do anything. So instead of going deeper into the flows of love and light, they go into the I don't want to hear. But we as evolved Pleiadian star beings say, please open your ears and learn to listen. Cry if you must. And then we ask you, are you a true spiritual person? For true spirituality on the divine realms of the Pleiadians and all the other star realms that you travel to, a true spiritual person means to desire that divine connection and to dedicate yourself to that divine connection and evolve every day, asking yourself, how can I go higher and higher? And never be truly content with your state as you were yesterday or today, but always evolve upwards. And then monitor the progress. How have you evolved upwards? How have you desired more? Where is it you are aiming towards? These are all new teachings for the spiritual community upon your earth. And yet, as a Pleiadian high priestess, I will say they're not new at all, for they are very ancient. We always taught you those ways as parents in the Lemurian times, especially those who truly wanted to be trained as high priests and high priestesses. They were always being taught how to move upwards. Never be content with yourself. Yes, you're a beautiful channel, you're a beautiful medium, but push upwards. And they would say, the people would say, so AMMORAH, so Susanna, the light grid programmer, and whoever else was teaching, because so many beautiful teachers were there, they would say, the people, how can we move upwards? Divine direction would be given, and then the people moved upwards, and it was always a state of moving upwards into deeper gifts and deeper love and deeper self. And so we are asking you, are you ready to do that, our dear friends? And I, as AMMORAH, am really asking you, for we cannot help you. Teach you the ascension flows. Teach you how to hold the ascension flows, because there's so many coming. Unless there are people who really want it. Because you are becoming the channels of the ascension flows. This is your task. And like I stated, in ancient Lemuria, everything was given to you on a platter. And you chose not to have it collectively. You dropped it. And it didn't take that much either to drop it. You need to learn to let go of that. But now we're asking you to work twice as hard, 3 times as hard, to get those flows into your world. Otherwise, you will drop it again. And we don't want you to do that. This time, learn to appreciate everything you've been given. So I, as AMMORAH, Pleiadian High Priestess, am praying for you very, very much to awaken you to this. And I will keep praying for you to awaken to the love and the flows. For you must awaken. And please don't say these lessons are for such and such and such, for I'm looking right at you, our dear friends. These are for you. Akomoha halima. Greetings, I am AMMORAH, Pleiadian High Priestess on the Pleiadian High Council. Greetings.
Greetings.
Greetings and blessings. I am Archangel Michael, and whenever I am in your midst, I am always blessing you. For you need larger wings, and you need to learn to fly up higher. Higher with your gifts, higher with your views, higher with your attitudes, higher with your thoughts, higher with your existence. For when you fly up higher, then all other things can grow up higher too. For all thoughts are important in all of existence, and your thoughts affect another, and you know this. Your attitudes affect another, and you know this too. The way you fly affects another, and you know this too. For everything is connected to each other. And I, Archangel Michael, am here to guide you to greater things. Greater mountains, greater heights, greater altitudes, greater views, greater catches, greater leaps, greater challenges, greater thoughts, and all things are about flying higher in the love and the light. When you fly up higher in the love and the light, all things in your life become altered because everything shifts upwards. And sometimes, as you know, things begin to become a little shaky. Nothing ever stands still, you know this too. So to fly up higher means to have that little bit of courage, which is what I'm here to help you with, because I'm here to give you strength and courage. Courage as a spiritual warrior, friends, is so beautiful and so great, for then you will always stand in your own power and in your own wings and in your own light. The person who is spiritually courageous is not one who follows another, but feels the connection within themselves and is not afraid to stand up for truth. Not because another says something, but because they have connected and they feel and they stand strong in their power. To those people, I give them my sword. For my sword is very strong, and I give it to the ones who are ready to stand as strong spiritual warriors. I give you my shield for protection. I give you my helmet for divine direction. I give you a great shield above you so that you're always connected to who you are and to stand strong within yourself, not to waver, but to know and to act and to be. They are the strong spiritual warriors. And when you're a strong spiritual warrior, friends, you are more beautiful than you know. For those strong spiritual warriors are truth and power. They stand in their hearts of love, and they know greater wisdom. They hear the divine speaking to them, and they feel within. They know it is their desire to do so. At this moment, there's not that many strong spiritual warriors upon this earth. For the majority are great followers of others. And yet we say we are teaching you to stand strong with your most beautiful courage, your most beautiful self, your deeper connection. Stand strong in the light and guard the light. On many planes, friends, we teach people as archangels to be guardians of light. This is important on other realms because it must always be guarded. They see when there's anything that is not in line with light, and they go there and eliminate it without any fear within their being, with a pure intention, pure connection, pure love. Imagine if you were given that great task to be a spiritual warrior of light, and then to understand that together you can be great spiritual of warriors of light, and have armies of angels behind you. This would be most beautiful for you. So I'm going to take you through a short spiritual exercise to help you become a stronger warrior, knowing that it makes you happy because you will feel self stronger and to have that strong connection of love within you. So I'm asking you to close your eyes for a moment and be in a relaxed state, calling in the archangels always, calling in the greatest protection always. When you have the greatest protection, your vibration shines mightily. We as archangels are very attracted to people who call in protection, for we know that they love the universe, because this is what we always ask people to do. Go and protect yourself with the archangelic love. So call it in and feel how your vibration lifts up higher. Imagine if you were placed in a beautiful place now, in a land where there's no war, no fear, no violence, just peace and love. All the people in the love and the light are safe because you're a guardian of the light. Feel that within yourself. How would that feel if archangels helped you to become that? Would you be afraid? Would you be happy? And then we ask you to step into the being happy. And know that when you are working with the light, your life is beyond blessed. You will never be asked to do anything more than what you're trained to do, step by step. So please don't think you're going to be overwhelmed, for this is lesson 1. And lesson 1 is always easy. So we ask you to see some boots in front of you, and you step into those boots. They help you to be firmly grounded into the earth, into the plane of love, so that you feel yourself being so alive, so connected, so loved. You have a beautiful sword, sword of direction, sword of courage, sword of strength, sword of permission to be you, to be your authentic self. Take it. Don't hesitate. Take it. Feel what it's like to carry the sword. Have a play. Have fun. Knowing that you cannot hurt anyone with it. But whatever you touch becomes more of light. So see yourself picking up the sword and going to a tree. Touch a tree with your sword and seeing the tree become more alive. Go to a beautiful vegetable in the ground. Touch it with a sword and see how it grows into beauty and strength. It might become so big you cannot lift it up out of the ground. So then cut it off and give it to a farmer to eat and say, "It is a gift from my divine to you." I ask you to pick up the shield, and the shield is for the great protection. And then I, Archangel Michael, will give you wings so you can fly and have fun. So let us go to other lines of warriors who have a spiritual sword, spiritual boots, spiritual shield. spiritual wings and a spiritual helmet for deeper spiritual connection. See your friends. How many are there? And then we're going to play a little game. When you move forward, there's something there that is not quite of love and light. And you all stick your swords out and say, only love and light exists on this plane. Go now! And it disappears. And instead, a rainbow appears, greeting you. And you go back to the plane. You say thank you, my dear friends, for joining me here and for having fun. You let go of all the beautiful equipment, and every time you come back, you put it on, you will become stronger and stronger within yourself. And every time you come here, you will notice that your courage and life will grow. So play this meditation many times to grow courage and authenticity in your life, to be your true, authentic self with strength, with greatness, and learning to become a spiritual warrior of love and light. So slowly let go of your boots, your helmet, your wings, your sword and your shield, and come back to your plane, feeling your feet, your ankles and your legs, and slowly begin to wriggle about. And then when you are ready, when you breathe in and out, you open your eyes and you smile. And if you have friends there, smile at each other, for you've just had a mighty experience with the archangels who are always behind you. And with that most beautiful lesson, we shall leave you in the greatest peace and in the greatest love, and welcome you again next time. Greetings, I am Archangel Michael.
Greetings.
Greetings.
Namaste. Namaste.
I see the divine in you as you see the divine in me. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you. Thank you, divine.